The 28th of December, 1958, a day that would fundamentally alter the course of American history. New York's Yankee Stadium, 64,000 people, all gathered to witness a single sporting event. But this wasn't merely a game, this was the beginning of a revolution. American football, a sport that had been largely ignored across the nation, was about to become the country's greatest obsession. But the story isn't what you might imagine. This is about truth, emotion, and a match that would transform the very soul of a nation.
1950s America, the golden age of baseball. In every street corner, much like cricket elsewhere, baseball was the game everyone played. American football? That was just a pastime for university students. Professional football wasn't taken seriously by anyone. Television broadcasts were sporadic and poorly produced, yet two teams existed, the New York Giants and the Baltimore Colts, neither aware that their upcoming match would make history. This was an era when America desperately needed a new hero, a fresh narrative to capture the public imagination.
Championship match day arrived. Bitterly cold weather gripped the city. Fans sat shivering in their seats, yet absolutely refused to leave. The Giants' home ground, their fortress, their supporters' passion running deep. But the Baltimore Colts possessed a secret weapon, a quarterback by the name of Johnny Unitas. A broken nose, a military-style crew cut, and fire burning in his eyes. This man had already been rejected once before, but today he was about to write his own destiny.
The match commenced, both teams absolutely throwing themselves at each other. The Giants' defense like an impenetrable wall. The Colts were struggling desperately to score any points. By halftime, the Giants led 3-0. A wave of celebration swept through the stadium. Yet in the changing room, Colts coach Weeb Ewbank said something rather intriguing. This is merely the beginning. The real match is still ahead. Nobody had the slightest idea that the genuine drama was only just about to unfold.
The third quarter arrived, and the Colts began to show their true colors. Johnny Unitas throwing one perfect pass after another. The Giants' defense, which had seemed invincible earlier, was now beginning to crumble. One touchdown, then another. The score kept changing. 14-3. The Colts were now in the lead. The stadium's cheers transformed into groans of disappointment. But the Giants, they weren't the type to surrender easily. Because champions, they fight until their very last breath.
The fourth quarter, merely 7 minutes remaining on the clock. The Giants' quarterback Charlie Connerly rallied his team magnificently. 1 drive, 2 drives, 3 consecutive drives. With every single play, the entire stadium held its collective breath. And then the Giants scored. 17-14. The Giants were back in front. Yankee Stadium erupted. The fans went absolutely wild with joy. However, the match wasn't quite finished yet. On the clock, only 2 minutes remained.
2 minutes, 80 yards to cover, and a touchdown desperately needed. Any ordinary team would have accepted defeat, but Johnny Unitas was far from ordinary. He looked at his players in the huddle and simply said, "Trust me." First pass, completed. Second pass, completed. Every throw was perfect, every decision meticulously calculated. The Giants' defenders were utterly bewildered. Was this man a machine or human? The clock was ticking relentlessly. 30 seconds, 20 seconds, and then the Colts entered field goal range.
Steve Myra, the Colts kicker, the entire responsibility resting squarely on his shoulders. One kick, just one kick that could level the match. The ball was placed, the snap, the hold, the kick. The ball soared through the air, between the uprights. Good. The score, 17-17. But what would happen now? Because in NFL history, never before had a championship match ended in a draw. The rules dictated sudden death overtime. For the very first time in the NFL, a match would enter overtime play.
The coin toss, won by the Colts. They received the ball and an opportunity to make history. Night was falling, yet all 64,000 spectators remained firmly in their seats. On television, millions of Americans sat glued to their screens. This was the moment when America realized just how thrilling football could truly be. Johnny Unitas returned to the pitch, and this time he absolutely wasn't leaving without a victory. In his eyes burned determination, a singular mission.
The drive commenced. Pass, run, pass. The Colts advanced steadily, yard by yard, play by play. The Giants' defense was utterly exhausted, yet they refused to surrender. At the 8-yard line, the Colts executed one final play. The fullback, Alan Amich, received the ball. He charged forward. Defenders tried desperately to stop him, but Amich crossed into the end zone. Touchdown. Match concluded. 23-17. Baltimore Colts were champions. But this victory didn't belong solely to one team. This triumph belonged to the entire NFL, to football itself. The following morning, every newspaper's front page featured this extraordinary match. The greatest game ever played became the match's immortal title. Across America, people spoke of nothing else but this game. Television ratings shattered all previous records. Never before had so many people watched football. Children abandoned their baseball bats and picked up footballs instead. In a single evening, football became America's new love affair. Yet within this story, there were real people, genuine human beings whose sacrifices made all of this possible.
Johnny Unitas, rejected, ignored, forgotten. Previously, the Pittsburgh Steelers had dismissed him. Not good enough, they had declared. He worked on construction sites, played semi-professional football for just $6 per match. Yet he never surrendered, never gave up. Every single day he practiced relentlessly, dreamt constantly, believed unwaveringly. The Baltimore Colts gave him a chance, and he demonstrated to the entire world that rejected individuals can become legends. This match transformed him into a hero, but his dedication, his passion, that's a lesson for everyone facing their own struggles. Following this single match, America was utterly transformed. Football stadiums were constructed everywhere, television contracts were signed, merchandise began selling phenomenally. The NFL became a commercial empire. Within a few short years, the Super Bowl was established, which today is the world's largest sporting event. Billions of pounds, millions of devoted fans, all because of this one extraordinary match. But most importantly, football united Americans. Race, religion, social class, all differences dissolved. Inside the stadium, everyone was equal, supporters of one team. Today, decades later, the '58 championship is still remembered with reverence. Johnny Unitas, enshrined in the Hall of Fame. Alan Amich became an absolute legend. That match, those players, those moments achieved immortality. But the real legacy isn't merely about statistics. The genuine legacy is the millions of children who play football, the families who gather together every Sunday to watch matches, the communities who unite behind their teams. One match gave an entire nation a new identity, a fresh passion, and an enduring tradition.
So when you watch the Super Bowl, when you see those magnificent stadiums packed with passionate supporters, when you witness billions of pounds changing hands, remember this. Remember the 28th of December, 1958. Remember Johnny Unitas, the rejected construction worker who became a legend.
Remember that freezing evening at Yankee Stadium when 64,000 people witnessed history being made. Because sometimes, just sometimes, one match, one moment, one decision can change absolutely everything. This wasn't merely the day football changed America. This was the day America discovered its true sporting soul. And that changed the world forever.